To know exactly how to scale to $1 million a month with an info product, with your coaching program. These are a compilation of lessons that I've learned given some group calls. I dropped a lot of sauce in this video. If you guys don't know me, I've scaled multiple programs to 6 and 7 figures a month. I'm gonna go over scaling strategies, webinar strategies, marketing strategies. You need to scale to 100K and $1 million a month. A list of questions from over 50 entrepreneurs. Enjoy and talk soon.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I had the site muted. My bad.
Let's go. Okay, guys, welcome to another Q&A, Harvest Discord Q&A. We have none other than Jace England with us. Before I introduce the man, if you're new to Harvest, we do these Q&As regularly, every single day. We just bring special guests to answer questions for you guys, give you guidance, give you direction, just give you what you need to get to that next level. Whether you're a setter looking to become a closer looking to get into management, a growth operator looking to scale a client. Like, these are the people you want to spend time with. So we're giving you their time, and you're able to ask one-to-one intentional questions to get better. That's how this works. So if you're not asking questions, then sorry, right? You're not doing what you're supposed to be doing for yourself. But if you are asking questions, good for you. We hope that you continue to stay along with us and continue as we grow this community. But without further ado, guys, Jace England is with us today. He is known for building with 6 and 7 figure consultants regularly. He's the owner of T5 Consulting. He has scaled coaching programs to 1.7 million a month and more. He's well known in the space for growing and scaling brands, and honestly, just a great friend to have around. A successful individual. Without further ado, guys. I cut out. Can you hear me now? Hello?
Chat, did he cut out or not?
Am I cutting out? Can you guys hear me now? Hello? Am I cutting out? I'm good? Okay. Cool. Well, if you guys can hear me, yeah, man, that's really it. So I'm excited to bring Jace on stage with you guys. Jace, can you tell them a little bit about you in terms of the journey you've traveled thus far, what you're focusing on right now when it comes to scaling brands and growing businesses? Okay, we got some audio difficulty here. Here, I'll bring you back up, Jace. 1 second. I'm glad you guys are paying attention, though. That's great. Jace, can you hear me?
It's kind of weird. I can hear everything else in your Discord channel, but you.
Let me leave and join back. 1 second.
There we go. I can hear you now.
Can you hear me now? Okay, sick. Awesome, bro. No, I was just giving you a quick intro. I don't know if you've heard it, but I'll repeat it for the people who are just joining in. Guys, we have Jace England with you. He has helped grow brands for a living, owner of T5 Consulting, class of 1. He's scaling coaching programs to the millions in a month. He works with multiple 6 to 7 figure consultants regularly, and he's a great person to have in your network. Right? He's someone who's well connected. He's made a name for himself in the space. He's a hardworking person, and he's got a lot of influence. So, Jace, tell them a little bit about you, your backstory, the journey you've traveled thus far, and what you're focusing on right now, whether it be T5 or any other ventures that you're working on.
Yeah, what's up, boys? I'm Jace. For whoever follows me in the space, I see a couple of people that I know here, and yeah, basically, I've kind of ran up T5 Consulting. That's been an info agency for about 3 years now. Started basically as nothing. I ran up in SMMA before then, and I've had a few clients at 7 figures per month now, multiple clients at 6 figures per month, and I've kind of taken a space where a lot of people have capped out and scaled it to more of an agency structure. And what are people saying in the chat? Can't hear Jace. What the fuck, bro? Can anybody else hear me? Yeah, it's just like one-off problems. Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. So, yeah, I've scaled multiple clients to 6 figures per month, and all on rev share basis. a lot of clients now. We've done some private equity plays where we've invested in businesses and we've taken the exact marketing and sales systems into other companies like prop firms, other companies like certain brands like insurance companies, this, that, and the third. But our main kind of forte is in info, and it will be. And we have huge events coming up. I have this one coming up that's projected to do $5 million per month in the first month that we launch. I don't know projected after that. It will be an affiliate play, and it will also be a coaching program play. I don't know if you guys have seen me kind of promoting the free McLaren launch that I'm doing for one of the clients. I would say tap in with that. A lot of the people have been in the trading space, real estate space, e-com space. That's kind of been my thing. And then my brand kind of blew up or like niche blew up, I guess, when I scaled the program to over $2 million in 35 days, and I documented the entire thing, and I've been doing so ever since. So the brand was kind of built off of results and systems, and a lot of people started coming to me because I SOP'd out every single thing that we've done to make all of the clients 7 figures per month and bring our agency peak. I made over 500K in a month with my own agency. It's profit to myself when we did that essentially. So yeah, it was 2 mil in 35 days. And yeah, if Max in-house and Sawyer join, it'd be lit. But yeah, it's a little bit about myself and my journey.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, bro. And obviously, documenting your journey is huge. That's very important. And people who are not doing that, you should be doing that, especially if your aspirations are to, scale brands and businesses. Tell them a little bit about just kind of the process when it comes to scaling a brand from the hundreds of thousands a month to the millions a month. I'm sure there's, an SOP that comes to mind to you that you've used, or maybe some insight that you would want to give to people that are just starting out when it comes to scaling and growth operating.
Yeah, so a lot of you guys are probably operators or marketers. I see a few operators in here. Maybe you guys are even in the sales space for some info brands. It's all about influence at the end of the day, and a lot of people don't treat info like a real business, and I had to learn this as a very hard lesson. So if you are in the info space, or if you're trying to scale to multiple clients, you don't really know what to look for and you don't really know what to expect. I had a lot of high expectations when I was coming into this game first. You're kind of psyoped into the thing of like, if people have 100,000 followers or whatnot and you multiply it by X amount, they should make X amounts of money essentially. So basically what I mean by that, sorry, my alarm's going off. One sec. And what I mean by that is influence is everything. So when I scaled the program to $2 million in 35 days, he had years and years of built up influence essentially. But I've also scaled with people who have had years and years of influence in a different way. So for example, I've had a client where he literally got 100,000 views per story. But all of his content was built like a movie. So he had no like relevant influence. But I've also, with my program and a couple of people that had a lot of results in the space in the smaller audience, keep in mind, my brand, top month for licensing, this is for my own program, did over $200,000 in a month, and I have 13K followers. I've had a few clients that had over 50,000, 100,000, 150,000 followers on Instagram as like traders, but none of their content really portrays them trading, them getting real results, them selling people on the three mechanisms that you basically need to sell people into your program, which is the brand, your success with the brand, and the business model itself. And so they were capped out at 50K, 60K per month, etc. So that's kind of what I've learned. I used to think that you can just scale anybody, but the person I was talking about, I like to use him as a case study of people that like don't really, scale that much. Is he gets millions of views per reel, literally millions of views. And we tried to scale him. We tried to scale a fitness program for him, and he literally made $0, all because none of his audience knew him for the right thing. Therefore, there was no influence. And you have to think about it like this: you have to have not only business benefits. You not only have to have a benefit sell, like benefits of your program, but you have to have proof with it essentially. And I always look at framing, so it's all about frame, right? So there's a reason why a lot of you guys will try and go after like trading coaches and this and the third, and I like to use this analogy, right? And simply because, and I'm not saying traders make the most amount of money in info, but the reason why they make a lot of money in info is because their entire brand, if they want to get selling info, is all frame. And what I mean by that is the only way that they can make content is by documenting their trades and by trading live the entire time. You can LARP all you want with ecom, you can LARP all you want with, real estate or with an agency and not really post client results. That's why a lot of those offers don't have a lot of influence and why trading comes up in the space so many times. So if you can actually have frame and have all of your business on frame like that, I made a video on Instagram. If you guys go check out my profile on Instagram, there's a pinned reel called how I scale my clients to what I learned being number one on WAP, making $100,000 a day. So I've been number one on WAP a few times. I have some $1 million plaques coming. I have about 3 of those coming. And that video basically it hit like 30K organically. Ty Lopez followed me from that. Champ followed me from that. That's how I got a big name in the space. A lot of people reach out to me. Ty wanted to talk to me from that, and I boosted that video. And that video alone has probably made me over $250,000 simply because it was all frame and it was all proof. So if you can develop that for your brand, you can do a lot of cool things in info. So just a short notice on that as well. One of the things that we've recently switched to, and I know a lot of agencies have switched to this, is really just maximizing webinars now, doing pretty much only webinars for most clients, because you can gain a lot of frame in a webinar in a very short period of time. And I know this because I've ran a few webinars for myself. My last webinar had 65 people on it, which is it's all right for my short niche essentially. If you're not doing B2B, if you're doing B2C. And that webinar alone made me over $40,000, and 2 people from that never followed me before. One of them was Iman Ghazi's old COO. So that's my whole gist of how the info space is going, how it's going to go. And you're literally not going to make money if you just kind of promote for views and not and not influence. So there's a difference between direct response content and entertainment content. And if you guys want to know what ranks better than other content besides ads is besides the point. YouTube videos in a lot of frame. If you can scale your clients on YouTube essentially, and then you can cut that down, turn them into Instagram reels because you need to have a lot of frame to post that, then that's a good place. So, but yeah, that's what I see.
No, well said. Well said. Spoken like a true expert, guys. I'm going to bring some people up here, Jay, so they can ask questions. Guys, be very intentional. Don't just ask questions about what's going to happen 10, 15, 20 years from now or any surface level. Like, be intentional with what you're dealing with, whether it be systems, sales, marketing, and let's get after it. Isaac, you're first.
Yo, Bruno, appreciate you bringing me up. What's up, Jace? How you doing today?
What's up, brother?
So, I just had a question. I actually tried sending it through your Instagram, but I'm guessing I got a hold of your setter or somebody like that, whoever manages it. But I'm just curious, like your journey is pretty exceptional, right? Like in 2 years, making that level of change, kind of blew my mind, right? To like going like 500K plus months. So I'm curious, like what's the biggest factor that fueled that level of rapid growth? I hope it's not too generic of a question, but I couldn't really figure out how to phrase it more specifically.
Yeah, so I took a lot of risk up front, and every single time I go down to a dip or I want to get above a certain level in business, I realize again, and you'll find this in every single entrepreneur book that you'll ever read or every story, that risk is the only way that you're going to go to the next level. So if you guys don't know my story, the first way I got my clients when I was transitioning out of my agency is I moved to Arizona at the time. Then I moved back to Minnesota because I couldn't like afford the rent, because my agency, basically what it did is I scaled that to like 20K a month in the real estate space, but then I had to refund everybody because I couldn't actually deliver on the services I was talking about. And it's just fucking horrible space to get into. And I moved back to Minnesota, and I was hounding info clients because I was basically in that world. And I finally got one meeting with one guy. He was like, listen, we can have coffee tomorrow. He was a huge trader in the space, had about 120,000 followers. And I was like, at what time tomorrow? And he lived in Arizona, and he was like 6 p.m. or something like that. I'm like, bet, let's do it. But I had to travel 25 hours just to go to Arizona. So I packed my stuff right then and there in the next hour, and I went to Arizona, and I slept in my car for 3 days, and then I signed the client on, signed a lease there. And then if I can basically paint a picture in your guys' head, my biggest clients indirectly came from that relationship. So what happened from that, and I've had other clients in the space which have made me a shit ton of money, but it's kind of crazy when I explain this. That first client introduced me later on, like 6 months later, when we already scaled him, to another client named Anthony. And he was another trader in the space. They were like they used to be business partners. And then that client directly, we scaled him to about 250K per month, introduced me to Q, which was my biggest client, besides like this next event that we're doing. And then Q directed me to his prop firm, which made us multiple six figures per month. And in between that, I used those case studies directly to go after all the other mutuals in the space and that he had, and all basically like scale my agency. Like we had weeks where we like signed on 10 done for you clients, and I sold a couple of those partnerships because we just had too many people come into us essentially. And that was my growth period. So I really had like no money. I was putting all my balls on the line. And then I've never stopped um marketing and never stopped selling. So for example, I do have a setter, and ever since like in the past 2 years, I've used the evergreen loom method. If you guys have heard me talk about that, it's basically where I made an evergreen loom. I don't make my DMs personalized unless they like obviously respond, they're asking questions. And that evergreen loom has over 3,000 views on it from creators essentially. And we use that because my setters never failed to send over 60 plus DMs on Instagram alone, some on Twitter as well, to creators every single day for the past 2.5 years, even when we're not taking on clients. That's really that's the game plan. And I talk to a lot of operators because over 90 plus operators are in the licensing program, and their biggest mistake always stopping doing outreach, stopping doing sales because they're trying to optimize the brand. But it's just you're not skilled enough essentially, because if you were skilled enough, you'd figure out how to handle more demand instead of trying to optimize for the demand you already have. So
Shit, that makes a lot of sense. That's really cool. Bruno, do we have time if I ask like one more question before somebody else goes real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, and then Andrew, you're next.
Okay. So I guess with that rapid growth, what's kind of separated you from your competitors? Like a couple of top specific factors that you can think of, because would you say it's your networking? Like you said, that one first big client you got really kind of helped you get a bunch more. Like what do you think kind of helped with that and separated you?
there's a lot of things. So I lived in my I was basically like fucking in my office 24/7 like the 2 years ago, and then I lived in my grandparents' like cabin, their basements for like a year, and I just kind of put everything on the line. And then I took a trip to Dubai, and then I took a trip to Marbella. Just
Nice.
as a partner for 2 months, I lived there, just like just grinding. And then I went to Miami, and when I went to Miami, I already had the results. And but that's really what I had, like no life for like 2.5 years basically, you know? And so
Yeah.
it's like, although being isolated fucking sucks, like I knew where I wanted to go, and it absolutely paid off. Like I the way I got to Miami is I was only supposed to be here for 2 weeks, and I met people because of who I knew in Dubai, because of who I coach essentially. And Ben, if you guys know Ben Bader, he was like, "Yo, do you want my apartment lease?" Essentially. And this is like 9 months ago, and I was like, "Oh, you're moving out?" Because he's moving into the penthouse. So I said, "Yeah," and I've been here ever since. So that's what separates me also is every that allowed me a lot of time. That's what I was getting to SOP out every single thing. So we have SOP'd out every single little thing that needs to be done when it comes to webinars, marketing, ads. And I did that because when we were bringing on beginners into our agency, because at one point I thought we needed sub operators for every single client. So I did that indirectly because I wanted beginners to come here and be masters and already like replicate that process without making any mistakes. So literally scaling 7 figure plus brands. And then that's how I've been able to sell like $20,000 licensing packages. Because every single thing is SOP, and onboarding can be done in 2 minutes. So
That's really valuable. So you wrote SOPs for everything like VSLs,
very boring,
your ads.
very boring. 250 plus SOPs of every single thing that you would need to scale a brand and scale the agency as well. So
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate you being here today, man. I know your time's valuable, so that's awesome.
yeah, bro.
Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate you, brother. Andrew, you're next. Before you go, brother, I just wanted to shout out Gus for being here. You're a G, brother. We're excited for your Q&A very, very soon. But if you have any comments after these guys are done asking questions, feel free to just chime in. All right, Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, so I got a question regarding like what you did in the beginning. So like would you ever change, I know this is kind of like a generic question, but like would you ever like change anything like you started at like what you started doing in the beginning if you like had to like, go back in time, I guess?
Yeah, I would have been way more. There's a few things like I would have been way more harsh with my clients. Like I every single client hasn't like not every single client of mine has been successful, but I can proudly say that like every it's a 5-year-old question. Every single client that I've had that like fell off, we were never like the bottlenecks. It was always because they couldn't post content because they weren't bought in on the brand anymore or they had some personal stuff going on. So one mistake was like that first trading client, like he had a huge divorce and his entire program went in the ground because he wasn't posting YouTube, he wasn't running ads, he didn't have any money essentially. And that will happen in any info brand because the client has to be more bought in. That's what I realized later on. And so being more harsh and literally telling them like, yo, this isn't gonna make any money and I'm gonna leave if you can't do this and I'm gonna go scale elsewhere. And then also always adding nuance. So it's like I've had a few programs where we had somewhat on easy mode. Like it was like we worked a shit ton and we grinded our ass off, but it was a different process than like every other client, right? So like the first client that I scaled to huge numbers, we did it all organically and we just did a shit ton of volume on Telegram, Instagram, YouTube, free giveaways, and then we expected it to scale at that. But some clients need way more of a ramp up period and they need more of like a consistency pattern of like live traffic, like a webinar every 2 weeks and consistent YouTube traffic and heavy ad spend and an actual strategy there. So the way that I fixed all of that is whenever we sign on a client, we pre-write, even if we're not planning to do a webinar for them, we pre-write what a webinar would look like. So we in the future, like we can run a webinar right away and we move fast essentially. So yeah, and that basically what that does is it helps us treat info like a real business because most people don't treat info like a real business and it's very unserious. So that's those are all the mistakes I would stop making. Oh, one more thing, I would be careful on the percentages you're giving people. So I've given away far too much percentages sometimes on some deals for some clients, and when I had to take on more responsibility. So that's neither here nor there.
Good. I got another question if that's all right.
Yeah.
So, like for me, like I pretty much only have done like sales. Like what type of skills do you think I should implement into my own business? I do sales management right now. I wanna move over to, running a business. What type of skills do you believe that, would be important regarding that?
Right in the info space, like you sales manager in the info space?
Yeah, I sales manage 2 businesses and I'm a COO.
Okay. So if you do it in the info space, you already have a huge benefit because you understand how the what's it called? Like how the sales process works, what people need to be sold. And yeah, it's basically like the sales process, right? So sales is a downstream from marketing. And the reason why we do sales managing and we do marketing and we do back end and basically everything like all done for you full stack is because sales, when it's really good, can give feedback on what's working with marketing. Like for example, it's very easy to tell when like I literally have a client and he'll make 50K plus every single time he posts a YouTube video in the crypto space. But when he doesn't, revenue tanks, right? So like it's very easy to tell, like let's say you're running ads and Instagram reels and YouTube and you're doing some Twitter threads and whatnot, and it's easy to like tell somebody you're better off starting in the sales space is what I'm saying, because you see kind of like what revenue sources are working, this, that, and the third. Now you just need to learn marketing skills. And that's where I started in the direct response sales space. Like I scaled the agency cold. The way I used to get all of the clients is I used to do one-off sales and like a call, and I used to do cold email for all of the clients. But yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Andrew. Moise, you had a question?
Oh shit.
Can't hear you, brother.
No?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jace, how are you?
How's it going?
Yeah. So I saw you first time in one of the Suez program. You were teaching ads to me and really liked everything you taught in that, especially the way you said, like, we can use 6 hooks and 6 bodies in alternative methods and make more creatives out of it. So that's something that really stand out. I have a couple of questions. First of all, what do you think is a better offer in info space and coaching space? A webinar a webinar funnel or with ads and organic, or a VSL funnel with ads?
Yeah, so I actually believe that you should have all simultaneously. So I had this graph and it's like a 365-day graph and it says evergreen call funnel. You should always be running an evergreen call funnel. And down below that is another graph that says once a month you run a webinar. And then down below that it says once a quarter you run an event. And that's pretty much how a perfect info product could scale. And then so like if that's the funnel, you just have to figure out how to get traffic in every single funnel essentially. And Jeremy Haynes actually believes this as well. Like he says you should be running every single thing because you always need to introduce nuance into your programs essentially. So like if you guys ever go to the Apple store and you realize like they're always running ads, right? But if you go into the Apple store, they're always running like these live webinars inside of the store. And then once a quarter, let's say they do like an event where they give away like or the event is like them making new iPhones to add nuance, you know? So that's the perfect structure you can do. It's not either or. But you should always have an evergreen funnel so people can always go and follow you. And then the webinars and the events are actually to close more people that weren't sold on the brand, which means they're stage 4. They're stage 4 and a stage 5 audience, meaning they're just like they're problem aware. Most people are problem aware and you don't realize it. And so the webinar, the VSL should be like 15 to 20 minutes long. And the reason for that is because the 20-minute long VSL is supposed to sell like just problem aware people. So most people know that they need to make money. They just don't know how. They don't know with what. They don't know who to learn from. And if they're like what's it called, solution aware, they're stage 1, and that's when like they know everything. So the webinar will sell to those people because it can gain influence right away because you can get them on all sales essentially, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense. And what about the process you and Jeremy Haynes use? Like you do the email sequences after every 2 hours before pre-call and everything. Like, do people actually read all the emails, and does it really help in nurturing? Like, I've seen your videos and I've seen Jeremy Haynes' videos, and you are so much you have so much conviction on it. So can you explain that?
Yeah, of course. You want to pre-sell people before the program. So I think Jeremy Haynes' analogy is really good on it. But like if you can educate them, my whole thing is like sales calls should not be a sales call. They should be a fucking decision-making call, you know? So if you can pre-sell anybody before the thing. So if you're selling people on the webinar, you want to sell people on the let's say Forex, right? Like you want to sell people on why Forex is the best industry to get into, your benefits. You want to sell them on your success. You want to sell them on how easy it is. You want to sell them on their own success in those emails. And so when we do book call sequences, it's like 3 to 5 emails per day before their call, essentially, because
Yeah.
we want to sell them on it. And this is why I do the Evergreen Loom video too, because I make sure everyone watches that Loom video before they hop on a call with me. It does the same thing. So, you know.
Yeah. So having more views on the Evergreen Loan video, doesn't it like limits you in the way of personalization, or people start thinking maybe like Jace has sent it to thousands of people and they haven't took action, so why should I?
No, it's never affected me in any way. I'd say I close more clients than probably anyone in this space done for you wise. Like we closed 4 done for you clients last week, and they all came from the Evergreen Loom video. A lot of people come inbound, but I feel like people would be more skeptical if they see all the claims that I'm making and all the results that I'm making, and thinking that I'm reaching out to them personally with the personalized Loom video. Some people will say, my whole thing is honesty, right? So like my whole thing is like if you give a reason to the actions that you do, you can always just convince people, right? So for example, I've had a few people ask me like, "Yo, why isn't this personalized?" The last operator reach out to me with a fully built funnel, this and the third. I've only had that happen like twice. Plus they weren't even fucking good clients to work with. Um, and all I say was, "Yeah, brother, like I reach out to a lot of clients. We're always taking on more clients. I don't take on clients I don't think can make over 6 figures per month, and then I just future pace with them. So I just give them a reason, and that's how I've scaled."
Yeah, that makes sense. And how do you set up the right expectations with each and every client before onboarding them?
Yeah, I just tell them, well, that's one thing. I tell them I don't work with people I don't think can make 6 figures plus per month because it wouldn't be worth my time. And I tell them what they need to do and what they need to expect once they get their goals. So, um,
And,
yeah.
okay. And in case they don't see the results and everything, so what's your process? Do you give them refund, or how's the things
Um,
go?
I mean, no. Like we report numbers. If anything is our fault, it's clear. But every time we've had a bottleneck, it's very much been client facing.
Okay. And what's the best ad strategy for coaches and infopreneurs in 2026? Is it like high targeting or a broad campaign? And what's the best possible use of Andromeda in 2026?
Yeah, I like there's Andromeda and stuff like that right now where basically you just have to creative scale. But as far as like targeting and strategy, the Forester is the best strategy. You can kind of call it the Forester, and it's basically where you drive everyone to your profile with reels. Let's say you make a bunch of educational reels and you basically run those as an engagement campaign, like 90, and then you basically go in, so like 30 plus engagement reels, right? And these can be videos of me talking about being number one in WAP. Like I've literally done this for myself time and time again, every single time I run ads. And then you basically go and retarget the people who watch 90% of those videos on a custom audience, 75%. You retarget them with an event funnel or like a just direct response call funnel. And those are lead ads. Shit, my bad boys. Those are lead ads essentially. And then you hammer them before they hop on the call.
Got it. And my last question is a bit personal. When the things are not working for you and you have no idea and no direction, and it seems like the same loop every single day, maybe in the present or maybe in the past, what do you exactly do? Like, how do you overcome it?
Yeah, I always having traffic coming in and always knowing that outreach is being done is a huge thing because I always have things to look forward to. So there have been a few times where like revenue has dropped and my expectations are thinking like, oh damn, this number is like low now, so I gotta lock in. And then I had like an event coming up or a launch coming up, and that was pretty much like God telling me like you gotta lock in. But I wouldn't like I remember how it feels like to be in the space of like not knowing what to do and not actually having things to look forward to. But I pretty much always have deals I can kind of like go and work through, and that's always by always selling and by always you know what I'm saying, by always marketing essentially. So, but if things don't work, I go back to my old roots. I lock in, I cut expenses, and I just go hard. You can always like just fucking go Adderall mode and just go hard.
Yeah, that makes sense. And my last request is like, please make ads course for 2026 on YouTube. It would be like generally helpful for
Gotcha.
all the growth operators and everything.
Yeah.
So
I got a lot
I'm
of
subscribing to your YouTube channel and
for
looking
sure.
for it. Yeah, Jace, thank you for your time. I really appreciate everything for you. I was looking for this QA for the past 1 week and really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Bet, brother. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Moise. Appreciate you, bro. Fredo, before you go, Gus, I know your time is very, very, very important. So, did you have any comment, questions, or anything for Jace while we're here?
Bro, I was gonna say I'll be down to watch that YouTube course, bro. The ads course. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I gotta make it. I gotta make it.
I was gonna say, I mean, you've been dropping sauce. I've been watching your stuff for a while, live in front of everyone. I mean, what are you doing on the private equity side of things? Like, bro, there's only so much like a cap in info. Like, you can only take on so many clients. You can only like, you know, take on so many done for you clients unless you're bringing on people and like delegating that. What's like the next step, bro? Like, I feel like you've been probably thinking about that a lot, but like, what's after, the top of info? Like,
Yeah. So, um, there's two things, right? So I run the agency and I run licensing for like my own info, and I've been able to do a lot of huge deals, like flip deals for like 60K plus to other operators or to other agency owners. That also gives me a lot of data to run a SaaS company, right? Because I can automatically have those people that will automatically buy any SaaS play that I run off of. And so I'm working with a couple of more people to run a SaaS company with, but also on the private equity side, sweat equity can easily turn into private equity very fast,
yeah,
right? So there's a lot of people in the space that will that have clients right now. There's only a few guys doing this. Joel Kaplan does this, I think, the best. Where he basically like takes on clients and he fronts the ad spend to front, like he basically spends all of it his front essentially, and they like split the costs after, but most business owners are too scared to front the ad spend, and then he'll
yeah,
take a huge percentage, like 50+%, and then that's him investing in the business technically, and then he also invested in School of Hard Knocks, and that's basically what private equity is. You're investing in them and you're taking money on the exit, and that's a little bit of what I'm doing now. So like I've with a lot of agency owners who run big content plays with other SaaS companies. And because I've SOP'd out every single part of the process when it comes to sales managing and sales and marketing, we use those same exact SOPs in the different companies. Like for example,
Yeah, it's the same shit.
yeah, we're working with a 9-figure company, a 9-figure prop firm, and it's the same exact thing as like a low ticket play. It's just like it's just more simple, and we just have more reps. So
No, it's lit. All
that's
right, bro. I'll let you have your space, bro. We should link up sometime in Miami. I'm here.
do it, bro. What building are you at?
I'm in River Landing, so like Brickell's like right over here,
Sick.
like 10 minutes from downtown.
Fire.
We'll
Fire.
do some shit there. I'll DM you.
Fire, bro. Fire.
Peace.
It's not every day you see two legends speaking on a stage. That's crazy. But Fredo, you had a quick question?
Yeah, what's good, Jason?
What's up? What's up?
What's good? What's good? So, my first question, bro, if you had to start from zero, like no personal brand, 0 followers, right? And like no one kind of knew your name in the space, how would you kind of develop your personal brand? Like, would you go on just posting like reels, or like would you go on like how would you optimize your profile? That's what I'm trying to say, mainly on Instagram, starting
Yeah.
from zero.
So what I realized from personal branding my own, because my personal brand has actually made more money than a lot of people with like hundreds of thousands of followers. But that's simply because my whole brand is built on frame and results. And when you build your brand on frame and results, you can sell anything to anybody essentially. And when I talk about that, like I didn't even mean to sell the licensing program. I just so many people were asking me for the SOPs and I already had them in and I started charging 5 figures plus for it essentially. And so you guys have probably seen a lot of the shit that happened with like Sam Millsap and like some of my other people who like, you know,
Yeah.
the Twitter stuff, you guys know the lore. His brand fell apart because his whole brand was built on lifestyle. And once his lifestyle diminished, he didn't have it anymore because he didn't have money. He tried to go the whole direct response route, but he didn't actually have any results to go off of. All of his revenue tanked, essentially. And so you can only sell on lifestyle so much. You guys have probably seen what's happening with Vince and a lot of these guys. And that's the best way to build a brand. And so what I would say is get the influence first, and the influence is only going to come off of results essentially. And if you amaze people with your results, you literally need to get like one piece of content to amaze people with the results. Then they'll give a shit about what you're saying on the motivation side and the business side and the lifestyle side. But nobody is going to care. You're literally not doing anything if you're just giving motivation but you haven't proven your results yet. Like you're wasting your time. It's literally going to do nothing for you.
Question on that. So, like, when you say results, are you talking about like multiple case studies, or like maybe one really good case study?
No, so like before I did the whole number one on WAP thing, I gained a smaller audience by being like, here's exactly how I scale my client to 50K a month with this ad strategy, with only one setter, with only this and the third. So here's how I X without X in X amount of time, something like that, right? And then I made a YouTube breakdown on how I did that essentially. And that's how I've seen every single person that I know that's actually doing big numbers scale. And I've been in the back end of too many businesses that don't have good frame in their audience where people think they're making millions of dollars and they're actually not. They're actually making like 20 times less than you guys actually think they are. So yeah.
100%. Second question I got. So like, I know followers like don't kind of really matter. Like, there's a couple people, you know, that, or there's people that have like thousands of followers and they can bring in and have more potential than someone has like tens of thousands, right? But I guess like for someone kind of getting into growth operating, do you think it's better to outreach with those with fewer followers, or kind of keep like the vision big and like outreach to those people with like more followers?
We reach out to pretty much like everyone, pretty much most people. But like
As a
my
beginner though.
I mean, you should know who to look for, right? So like you should just be doing mass outreach to pretty much like everyone and trying to get your case study, but it's easy to see who has frame, right? So my setter sees who has frame and who doesn't. Like for example, engagement rate on their reels is way better to look at. Like a lot of people have fake followers and then they don't have good engagement rate and then they're not talking about a lot of crazy stuff, right? And then you can figure out the next step of the process by seeing how much revenue they're doing. So yeah.
That's it for me, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bro.
Thank you, Fredo. All right, guys. Isaac, Andrew, we'll go in that order.
Second, I wrote this down. So I am also curious, right? Like you're bringing in a lot of revenue month to month. So what's besides SOPs for everything, like you mentioned, right? What's your strategy for managing like so many clients time-wise? Because that's I don't get how you do all of that, like and fit everything into one day. So are you also like just really systematizing delegation and automation? Like what's your mindset behind managing everything and like being effective time-wise?
Yeah, so my role in the business now is really making big decisions and you know, like implementing everything, right? So like for example, here's my structure. So it's me. I have a sales manager who manages all the sales operations, and I literally can't know all of the reps. Like sometimes I'll hop on calls, but I'm very disconnected from the sales side. We'll just look at the numbers, and then I have a COO who started as my assistant, but basically she's making sure everything gets done. Essentially, she's writing tasks, and she's communicating with the clients. Handles a lot of client communication. And then for some brands, I'll have a copywriter, and what I do with them is I just give them 10% of my profit share, essentially. So let's say like I take 20% for a brand essentially, and I make $100,000 off of that. The copywriter would get 10K, and I'm not really losing a lot because they did a lot of the copywriting, and I can't do a lot of the grunt work there. But their goal is not really that hard because we do a lot of the copywriting with AI because of the SOPs that we have, and that's how we manage so much essentially. And then having just a consistent approach with like webinars and things that we always know are going to come up. That's how we do it as well. So
Cool. Okay. Well, quick question because you touched on something close to near and dear to me, right? So I'm in the copywriting niche. So what do you look for when you're actually hiring copywriters?
it doesn't have AI tendencies, right? And you
Yeah.
can move fast with it, and you actually understand direct response. So this is like what I say in like the agency world. So like a lot of like content agencies will work with you, but they won't get it right in the info space. So for example, if you hire a content agency, but you're doing it because you want to make more money, a lot of times they're not actually going to get it because they see a win as you getting more followers and by you know what I'm saying? But that's not actually what you want to go for. You want to gain as
Yeah.
much influence in your brand as much as possible, essentially. So that's by you documenting the progress. That's by you making many chat CTAs. That's by you doing stuff like that because that's what gains frame. And that's what I would hit on as a copywriter. Like for example, I really I've went through a bunch of copywriters and their just whole thing with writing just a VSL, but it's not actually an educational VSL. That's that's always the turnoff for me, you know?
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Sweet. Well, thanks, Jace. Like I said, appreciate your time. It's been enjoying the Q&A. So
Of course, of course.
Thank you, Isaac. All right, we'll go Andrew and then Lorraine, and then I think we're at time. Unless Jace has more time, let me know, bro. But we should be good from there.
Yeah, we can keep going.
Okay. Yeah, so regarding like leadership, do you think it's leader
My bad. I took you down by accident, Andrew. My bad. I meant to take down Isaac.
Come on,
My
bro.
fault, brother. All right, go ahead. Rookie mistake. My fault.
Yeah, so regarding leadership, do you think it's more of like a skill or like a mindset? And how do you consistently, get better at it when bringing on more people?
Yeah, I had to learn a lot of stuff with leadership because being young, like I'm 21, right? So and you're managing people who are 19 and 20 and they actually don't care about they just everyone just cares about themselves, right? And then you actually have to take care of people, and then people expect things from you, and you have to pay people, and then you have to pay people well. It's all you basically have to just realize that nothing is going to happen unless you actually do it, unless people are very much about it. And this is why, some of the best people that have equity in companies, and this, that, and the third, and then keeping the culture locked in. So I think being a leader, I've studied a lot of stuff with frame, not only frame in business, but frame in a relationship. And so what I mean by that is being a leader in a business is very much like being a leader with a girl in a relationship, and it's just keeping frame. And the way that you do that is to keep a high value girl, you need to keep the excitement going in the relationship always. The way that a girl exits a relationship is she doesn't see the excitement in the relationship and she goes and finds it elsewhere, essentially. A lot of times it's not validation, a lot of times it's not anything else, it's excitement. Always future pacing. With my business, we always have deals coming. We always have things to look forward to. We always have things that we're talking about later in the future. I always have surprises coming up. That's like exactly what I mean, and that keeps the excitement going with the team, even if you're at a low month essentially. What you're going to do, what plans you have coming up, what YouTube videos are coming up, what campaigns are coming up. I have a huge event coming up. The whole team is hyped for that. Mastermind's coming up. And so that's what it is. Stagnancy kills everything, you know? So that's the main thing I learned with relationships. I mean, not fucking business and leadership.
Wait, so you're saying like even if it's like, you know, you're not making, let's say like you guys weren't even making any money like a month, like everyone would still be like pretty hyped up to, you know, even be working with you then.
I mean, the people that leave wouldn't be the best people to be with in general, essentially. So I could
Right.
tell that right away, you know? But it's bro, everything is tied together. Like if you ever see it like this. So for example, to convince anybody to buy anything from you, you have to give them a reason. Okay. So to convince people to stay with your business, you have to give them a reason and why they're going to make money, why they're going to do this, that, and the third. So I just became very good at future pacing, and everything is sales. So you have to sell your team to, you know, stay with your business, and you have to sell them on the dream as well. And so, yeah, even if you're not making money, why should they stay, you know?
Right. Thank you so much for that perspective. To be honest, I've never thought about it that way. Thank you so much for your time.
Pro spoiler.
Thank you, Andrew. Lorraine, she always has the best questions, so go ahead.
Bro, he's hyping me up, and I literally showed up so late to the party. Um, but can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Actually, so I do have a question because I was kind of looking at your content, your company, your business, doing a little bit of research, and I saw that you made a post where you said, you know, the coolest thing you've done is not only make a million at age 21, but you also lost a million at age 21 and you made it right back. I'm not sure if someone already like asked you a question around that, but I think that's pretty cool knowing not only can you make the money, but if you were to ever lose, you know, everything that you've built, you can always make it right back. And so what do you say is kind of the things that you kind of really had to quickly learn at a young age, especially in business and in sales, to develop the skills to where it's like if you were to lose everything, you know, today, you'd be able to build it right back up.
Yeah, so like if you have sales skills and you know how to sell anything and you know how momentum works, you can basically like never fully like lose yourself in anything, right? So I was close to like losing all of my money, right? And it's because I made a lot of stupid like I spent a lot of money, like a lot of money. I was like literally I was booking like 100-foot yachts for just me and my girl, like 3 nights in a row. One time I did that and buying Chanel and you know bought a 40K watch just out of nowhere. And then we went on a Greece trip, and that cost me about 50 bands. And and then I realized I'm like, oh shit, like weren't doing the numbers that we were doing before. How do I re-engineer that? And we came right back from that trip to Greece, and I literally manufactured $150,000 that week by doing a live webinar and some campaigns for the clients. And then I never wanted to be in that state again. And I learned how to manage that after. So I feel like everyone has to lose it at least once and then figure out how to manufacture it. And it's the best skill to have. Um, you know? So it's all about just like willpower, but it does take a lot. But it's all about influence essentially and convincing people.
And to add on to that too, since you did mention yourself, like, hey, I was super close to losing all my money. I was spending, you know, my money on this, on that. And I know, like, you know, a lot of us, we look on Instagram and we see all these guys that are like, you know, 21, 22, 23, 24. They're making a lot of money. And then they're all like, you know, in Miami or whatever, blowing it on like supercars and yachts and stuff like that. And, you know, someone who is still, you know, fairly young and was in that position. And, you know, obviously when you make money, you want to spend it. But you know, what are kind of like your thoughts on, you know, the culture of people that, you know, are making a lot of money at a super young age, but, you know, all they're doing is kind of like spending it and not really investing it or using it to kind of like compound the earnings in their business. You know, what's your take and your thoughts kind of around, you know, that culture?
Yeah. So I I'm fresh enough to know like a lot of people in Miami don't actually make the money that they say they are. A lot of people have offshore accounts and they're legitimately scamming and they're going to be in prison in a couple of years. And there's a lot of fake shit going on. But also, I know a lot of people here that don't wear anything. They're very boring people. If you guys want a really good example of this, go look up Will Nelson on Instagram. He literally makes like $2 million a month and he's the most boring person you'll ever see. But he has a compound of a house, nothing else. He drives a fucking Mazda. I want to be in the position where I have a lot of nice things, but I'm also not building my entire brand off of those nice things because those guys are like very, very hurt essentially. And so, how do you not fall in the trap? I think that's what you asked, right? Like, how do you not fall in the trap or navigate that?
Yeah, so I wanted your take on just like the culture that you kind of see, because I feel like especially in the online sales world, there's certain faces that are kind of at the forefront of it, and there's a certain kind of image that they push, because obviously a lot of people rely on bringing in more clientele, getting more people. Like you said, you have to sell your business to people,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the culture that that's the lifestyle they sell. So I
Yeah.
just wanted your insight on that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I have a lot of things with this. So like you have to be putting the business first and invest in the business first, because that's the mission. Because like if you don't respect money, then it's not going to respect you. Exactly right. So like your business is your cash flow vehicle, and eventually you're going to turn that into other cash flow vehicles. So for example, if you invest $100 million, um basically I forgot the number on it, but if you invest that into like the S&P 500, you're basically cash flowing like around $3 to $9 million, depending on what you did a year essentially. And you can just, that's basically passive essentially. And so I met this I've had this good friend in the info space. All of you guys know him. His dad is actually the richest man in Malaysia, and so he learned all of the business lessons that from his father essentially. And he doesn't spend any money, and he has probably like $4 million liquid in the bank, and he spends it all on retreats for the clients. He spends it all in his business, brings it all back, and he doesn't create that basically expectation of like when he makes more money he owes more people. And so I didn't like, I wasn't very close to going broke. I was just like in a lower liquid position than I was like comfortable being in. um but what I was is I had a lot of team expenses essentially, and I realized that I wasn't able to pay the team as much as I wanted to. And so what I did was I put other things first rather than the business, and that's actually not how it should go, and that's not how it should do. And what we don't realize in the info space is a lot of times we have a much higher lever than other people have in businesses. Like for example, I invested like $3,000 into a YouTube coach one time, and he did like done for you stuff, and we're still planning a lot of things. And one YouTube video made me like $40,000 from like, because we did like a webinar and he turned that into a clip indirectly. And so we have multipliers. So that's what I learned, a lot of those things.
Thank you for that. No, no, no. I definitely answered it. No, I like your mentality around that. It's always cool seeing someone that's like a bit younger than you have a better grasp. Especially, obviously, you have a lot more, business acumen and experience than most people. Like you've learned a lot. I'm sure you failed a lot. You've lost a lot. And I think that's something that's also not really discussed largely, is like, how much you have to really lose before you start really winning, and the levels that you want to reach in a business. There's a certain amount in which you have to kind of like, I don't want to say lose first. I don't like saying losing because I don't like losing and I don't lose, but there's just a certain lessons you have to learn to get to certain levels. I'll say that.
Like that, I can tell you're a very confident person. Yeah, you have to you really do have to, like, if you guys really want to get to somewhere really big, you do have to go through some, like, a lot of isolation, a lot of dark times. So like for example, when I lived in Tempe, um like 2.5 years ago, I was driving like a 1997 Honda, and I never left my room. And there would be so many times where I'd just be like praying and like sitting in my closet and praying, like, why the fuck is all this shit happening to me? And then in one instant of a moment, all that stuff came, and like God basically was just like, he was really freshening up my character, and now I have risk management and I have the success. Um, so yeah, like there's so many people. Like I've been back to my hometown a few times. If you guys don't know, like I'm from Minnesota. Like nobody here, I don't know if anybody here has been to Minnesota or the place that I've been in. But a lot of those guys just valued college and whatnot. And I'll see the kids who are like really popping in school and really popular in school and shit, and they'll be working at Bank of America asking like what I'm doing. I've probably had like 4 people from my hometown pay me for some sort of consulting, and it's because I didn't go the traditional route. So yeah, of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you. Michael, you had a question?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so you were talking a lot about paid ads, and my question basically was just like, what's your framework for like fully maximizing organic traffic with your client before like even thinking about paid ads?
They have to have a lot of direct response content, and I'll say that over and over again because you can always use that as an asset. So I wonder if I can share my screen. Can I share my screen on this? let me check. I'm gonna show you guys something. Let me share my screen. You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So what I mean by direct response content is if you look at my brand, this is the video I'm always talking about. So what I learned being number one on WAP, making 100K a day. I have so many videos that are like this, right? So if you make these videos, right, and they actually pop off, like I boosted all of this. This probably got like 20K organically. I boosted it to 164K. Like these are all ad views, right? You can always use that as a secondary asset to always run ads to, essentially. So I have so many more reels. Like I'll show you guys some more, like me making 45K in a day at 21. How I scaled a business to I boosted this a little bit. Like for example, this SMS blast did this essentially. All of the direct response content you can always use for ads, but you don't want to boost something like this. Like this is a lifestyle post. You don't want to boost, even though this is cool. Like you don't want to boost a prayer post. Like you can direct people and more. You know what I'm saying? Traffic, but like you don't want to boost a workout post. You want to actually go and run ads to a direct response post that gets you more traffic and gets you more intentful traffic. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my methodology. And so what I mean by that is there's not going to be a random person that's going to watch a 60-second video of how you scaled a niche coaching program to 100K on WAP, something that they don't even know. But pretty much everyone is going to watch how, like, renting a yacht at 2 a.m. with your girlfriend or whatever in Miami, you know? So, like, you don't want to go and, so what do you do with that? That's cheap traffic that you can go retarget because 90% of people who watch that, people who watch 90% of that video are all ICP, you know? Of
Okay. Thanks a lot, bro.
course.
Thank you, brother. All right, one more question here from Isaac, and then there's a question in the chat as well, Jace. I don't know if you saw that, but you can answer that after.
Okay, sweet.
So I guess one other thing that I really appreciated, bro, is like I saw one of your posts talking about your relationship with God, right? And how when you were just like grinding in the trenches every time you needed motivation, you needed creativity, right? And you just asked him for it, you got it. And like, so is that the main way you kind of like push past walls when you just don't know what to do? And you're like kind of staring at a blank screen. You're just like what do I do here? You know, like what's your thoughts on that?
Yes, absolutely. Like every single time that I've gone through a hardship, it's because I wasn't praying that much and my relationship wasn't intimate with God. Like literally every single time. And people ask me who don't believe in God, like, how did you get so much success or how did you happen fast or whatever? And they're like, and I tell them about God and they don't believe in Christ, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, well, that's how I got there because it literally says so many different times. People talk about manifestation, but they don't realize that that comes from the Bible, essentially. Like it literally like comes from the Bible. Whether you believe it or not, it says, "Ask and you shall receive." It says, "You are the grapevine," essentially, and he is the tree. Like I have John 15:5 on my wrist, and like literally when I was what people don't realize is it's actually when you're a Christian, you actually believe in God. It's actually selfish not to ask God for huge things because that means you don't have a huge expectation of him, essentially. And so I've literally asked for certain numbers in my bank account and they came like at the right time. They're not going to happen like right away, but they came at the perfect time and I realized it was the perfect time. There was literally like I've I've had a girlfriend for over a year, and everyone in Miami has this perception that you can't find a girl who's a virgin, who hasn't had a past, and who isn't an OnlyFans girl, this, that, and the third. I literally said one prayer one time, and I was like, God, can you just? I was bored one day, and I like literally wanted a girl in my life because I saw a relationship. I didn't want to get into. I don't like fucking with whores, bro. Honestly, I'm just gonna
A
say
lot
it.
of them in Miami, I'll tell you that. Yeah,
Liability, right? So
yeah.
and then a week later, I was staying with my boy Josh, and he was talking with this girl, and she was like, "You would look really good with my friend." And I've been dating that girl for a year, and she came from Philly, and I'm her first boyfriend, and it's been amazing. So, like, bro, literally everything. Like every time my life is very dim, it's because I'm not praying enough.
Okay. Awesome. That's awesome, man. Like that's yeah, best advice ever. Appreciate that.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you, Isaac. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, so there's a question in the chat, and I think we can cut it there. I don't know if anyone has any more questions, but feel free to raise hands if you do.
My situation, so I run an agency and I've hit a wall, but I can't seem to push sales past a certain point. How do I know if it's time to bring on a dedicated salesperson, and where do you even find good ones? I mean, that depends on like, you know, what revenue numbers you're doing. Like salespeople, you can go find them on if you're just starting like Upwork or Instagram somewhere, go and I have a bunch of sales groups, sales recruiting groups, and then you just do that. But if you ever want to do that, like just test who's getting more sales. You were the sales rep, and then like if you're getting more sales, then you keep it, and then if the sales rep's getting more, then you know you leave them. But bro, honestly, if you're not making over 10K to 20K a month, like you shouldn't even get a sales rep. Yo, Jace, what you think is best BNPL software to use? Text me on IG. I work with Sean and his company. He has an Affirm plug. Otherwise, I just transparently I get a lot of affiliates on WAP, so I still use Split It. If Fanbase is coming up with some things, I don't know. Like a lot of people are affiliates for Fanbases. I talk with their guys all the time, but they're not too good on the financing side until they get Clarity Pay up. But once they do, they'll be really good. So.
Got you, brother. And let me know if you can hear me. I'm walking out for a second, but I just wanted to stop by and say thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate the time that you spent with us, the willingness that you had to actually come on and answer everybody's question. I don't think he didn't pass on anyone's question. He was actually genuine with every answer he gave, and it shows his expertise in the space. So if you're looking for someone that can help really grow your brand, or you just want to talk to him, I mean, tap in with his IG. But is there anything that we could do to support you, Jace, as we kind of go through 2026 together? Obviously, looking to, you know, become better at every aspect of our life.
Yeah, just go and follow me on Instagram. Let me plug it in the chat real quick. That's cool. Just go and follow me on Instagram. Go watch YouTube. And then you know, if you guys, I work with a ton of operators in the just shamelessly plug. I work with a ton of operators, and I guarantee them deals. So we have so many deals come into us, and that's where we give all the SOPs. And I work with them 1-to-1 along with my team, full proof of concept. And so, if you want to talk about that, just DM me. But or just follow me on Instagram. Yeah.
Let's go. W's in the chat for Jace, everybody. Thank you again, brother. We'll talk offline and we'll figure out how we can work together. But in the meantime, guys, go ahead and follow his IG. Send him opportunities if you have any that come to mind, and we'll send you off with this song, bro. Catch you soon, brother. Peace.
She bout to fly me no hands, she bout to take me no hands, nigga can't even see me on winds. She bout to fly nigga.
What's good, G?
Yo, what's going on, boys? How we doing?
What's up, brother?
There we go. How we doing? I'm gonna be on the move here. So, but you know, I've spoken a bunch of times, so I've got every single lesson idea etched into my memory, so I can kind of speak all through it.
Okay, amazing, brother. Let's just give 2 or 3 more minutes for more people to join, and then we'll go on from there.
Perfect. Yo, you have hella background noise.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna mic myself. I'm gonna mute myself. Because I'm in fucking pura vida, bro. God damn it. Sorry, boys. Let's just give 2 more minutes and we'll get started. Gonzalo looking tanned as fuck. What the fuck?
Yo, is everyone from Portugal in here, Bruno?
No. Ricardo is here from America. He's also Venezuelan. But there's going to be some more people who are from Ireland. So, yeah.
Fire.
Sorry. Okay, let's get it. We can get it started, bro, and as people come start joining in, we can continue. So let's get it, boys. Jace gave a masterclass inside the mastermind in the Miami mastermind, and it was I really liked it. And you know, he specializes in all fields like webinars, ads. He specializes in marketing, sales, like in all areas of business. So yeah, I know that all of us are scaling our own companies. So I think this will be super valuable for all of us. Jace, you can speak, like, give a quick introduction about yourself, like the things you've done. They kind of know it. And yeah, then we'll go straight into the sauce and into solving problems. Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah. So I run a big consulting company basically. A lot of people in the space refer to it as growth operating. I took a normal growth operating business over the past 2.5, 3 years and kind of turned it into more of a consulting private equity business. We have a lot of clients, about 10 plus on rev share right now. And then we always have big whales. And my top month for the agency, profit to myself on a rev share basis was over 500,000. And my top clients made over $2 million in about 35 days. And I've had multiple clients at over 6 figures a month. And my whole brand is basically just me documenting how I scaled how I scaled the agency. And we continue to do more. We always have huge events coming up. We have this huge client coming up. I don't know if any of you guys know who Caleb Canales is. He's giving away a free McLaren. You guys can go and look into that stuff. If everything goes right on there, I'll project to do over $3 to $5 million. And so if you guys know Jeremy Haynes, his whole brand is about scaling offers to $1 million a month, and mine is slowly becoming that as well. So every lesson that it takes to get there, basically.
Sick, G. So yeah, boys, maybe the way we were gonna run this call, because Jace can't be on the computer right now. Like, each one of us puts our business, kind of what we're struggling with right now, and mainly we solve those problems. What do you think, Jace? I feel like it's an amazing way, because I don't just want information, actual implementation into all of these guys' businesses.
Yeah, that's fine. And I can paint a picture. So it's the same effect as me sharing my screen, because everything's pretty much the same. But yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it, boys. Let's put it on the chat. Let's get it some energy. Yeah, let's write down what we do and the biggest bottleneck right now. Miguel is with the camera off. He's with the girl again. No, trust me, whatever.
Where's the chat at?
Right here on the bottom right.
I'm not used to using Google Meets, bro. I'm always
in Zoom. No way.
Yeah.
Bro, Zoom is very gay. Miguel, I didn't know you were pivoting to AI services. Okay.
Full stack design agency, pivot into AI services. So I want to mention for AI and a lot of I thought that said Samuel at Nuha. I thought he was in this call. I want to mention that for all of all of my businesses, for me to scale the amount of businesses that we scale, where we do full stack and we take 30% handling marketing, sales, back-end operations, for me to have 10 to 15 plus clients at a time that are all making over 6 figures a month, which is basically like a full-time job. Just imagine each offer is running your own offer. Like, I have my own licensing offer, and that takes a whole thing. A lot of people just run one info product for ourselves. So we're basically running all of these systems for 10 plus info products, right? I could not do that without AI right now. Claude projects, managed sites, AI onboarding. I was thinking about my business without AI to the scale I want to do it at. So let me check out operating consulting for coaches. Biggest problem right now is booking meetings. Okay, so Bruno, do you just want me to basically give my insight to all these comments? Because I can go off. I can just riff.
Yeah, like whatever you think is most valuable for them. Because I feel like this calls, the main thing is getting actual step-by-step implementation into these guys.
Yeah.
Coming inside these guys' businesses. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So, by the way, if you guys don't follow me, just again, a lot of the lessons I give is like from not only like what it takes to scale to $1 million a month, but all the lessons that I've learned scaling multiple info products and a few private companies to $1 million a month plus too. So, and I've also done that for my own agency. So, as far as the booking a call problem, which is pretty easy to solve, the thing that I do, and I actually gave a lesson on this. I don't know if you guys saw the recording or if Bruno sent you guys the recording, but what I basically do and what I've done from the start is I use proof of concept, future pacing, and opportunity cost. So before you even have any results, basically what I do now, I'll get into what you can do without results in a second. But what I do now is I've had this private Loom video, private VSL for the past 12 months that has booked us over 5+ calls done for you wise per week essentially, and we close 5 to 10 done for you clients a month. And if you guys don't know, done for you clients are the hardest people to close because they're giving up a large portion of their business. And for me to work with anybody, they have to already have a profitable business, right? So I have this private Loom video that we send that in form of a Loom essentially, and most people think they have this false vision that you have to send personalized Loom videos. I never have. I've never sent personalized outreach, and I probably close more clients than anybody else. And what that Loom video says, and I can give you guys a sample. I can give Bruno a sample, and he can share it because everyone now in Jeremy's group, a lot of people in Max's group, and also Ben Bader's group, Artisan Lab, they all use this method now to do all of their outreach. It's who I am, what I've done in the space, my goal for that company, and then I give them 3 lessons on what they need to do to scale their info product to 7 figures a month. And then I basically frame myself as the person who can do that and how easy it is to onboard with us. So that's how I book more meetings. If you don't have results now, you can take a look at everyone that you're learning from, whether it's one-to-one. Let's say you're working with me one-to-one. And let's say you don't have the luxury of saying that you scaled a few programs to $1.7 million a month or, $500K a month, yada, yada, yada. What all my students say is they say, hey, I worked one-to-one with Jace England, who has scaled QBank's $1.7 million a month, Cameron Faust to $500K a month, because that equals proof of concept. And the only way to scale your business 7 figures plus is proof of concept every single time. This is why people buy mentorships. So that's what I would do. And the key is also never stop marketing, never stop selling, right? So even though we're pretty much capped out of done for you clients, we are still closing clients every single month because I just find a place for them. To give you guys some context, I had this client that we sold for over 30K, and I sold it to an operator to close them in 7 days because I couldn't take them on, right? And so I just sold them as placement. And if a better client comes in place for one of my other clients, I'll just sell that deal and go and get that deal. But I talk to a lot of operators, and they say they want to scale to 100K a month, but they'll close 1 to 2 clients and then they'll stop operating and stop marketing their business, and they'll just focus on that one client. Business is way too volatile to do that. So that's another lesson. So if you have no clients and you're not doing over 200 plus private Loom videos a day, just know that my agency is probably one of the most profitable in the space, and I'm still doing over 300 plus messages a day. Now, not myself, my setter is obviously, so don't be thinking I'm in the outreach trenches. I don't do any outreach myself, but those are 3 keys that you can really give. Agency, lead gen, struggling to get clients. Lead gen for what? What business? That was Gustavo. What business do you run?
So,
Mr.
Gustavo,
Gustavo.
can you hear us? Bro, can you speak, please, and turn on your camera?
It's for clinics and construction businesses.
Okay, so in the health space, I would actually do the same exact thing that I just said with a private Loom video and figure out how you can get more people. Now, there's a couple ways that you can go and actually find these clinics. Number one, I scaled my first SMMA. I hated that business, so I pivoted. But I scaled the first one by doing cold email, by going on Apollo and LinkedIn Sales Navigator, where you basically go and scrape a ton of emails, and then Apollo lets you do it at scale. But I actually did that 2.5 years ago, where I had a private Loom video and I just sent it to everyone essentially, and I had a unique USP. And then you can also go and reach out to people on messages. I have this friend who works with huge SaaS companies. Now, he doesn't have the craziest results in the game, but he just closed. Honestly, if you're an agency, it doesn't matter what you do. If you guys can make them more money with your product, you can close the same amount of clients, right? And he just closed Whisper, and Whisper basically gave them a $1 million a month retainer. He had like 2 other clients, and it's simply because he was so well at just providing a demo into what he did, and he provided the opportunity cost. So here's a couple of things too, right? If you can show how your service can make them an extra $100,000 a month, book 20 more appointments a month, then you can't really close anybody, no matter how much clients you have. But my boy who closed that retainer of $1 million a month, which by the way, a lot of that went to marketing, so he'll keep about 300 to 500 of that, depending on how much he needs to achieve his goals. it was very easy to see how Whisper could see how marketing UGC would 3x their customer base, you know, and spending money on that. And so I'm able to, the reason why I can close so many clients as well is because I can clearly present the opportunity cost and future pace. And what I mean by that is I simply, if coaches don't believe, or if they don't see the value in giving me 30% of their business to run their sales team, to run a sales system, to handle all of their marketing, I'll simply use one thing to close them every single time. And what I'll use, yeah, bro, that I totally understand. But by the way, everybody in your space, I'll mention a bunch of traders, or I'll mention everyone else, everyone who wants to get to what they told me for their goal. So let's say they told me they want to get to multiple 6 figures a month. Everyone at this level, none of them are doing it by themselves. And it's not leverageable for you to do everything yourself. And so that's opportunity cost, that's future pace, and they don't have to focus on anything, which is usually what they want to do anyways. They just want to do content. And so it's easy for me to get the close. But, you know, most SMAs or most agencies cannot define the opportunity cost at all, actually. So that's why you guys a lot of you guys are fucking ass. Biggest bottleneck you're facing right now. If you want to, Afonso, if you want to tell me what you're struggling with the software agency, I got you as well. I know a lot of software agencies right now that are killing it. Biggest bottleneck you're facing right now. The biggest bottleneck I'm facing right now is it's like somewhat of a hiring issue, plus also delegation and making sure that all of our copy and all of our marketing is dialed in and having a sub operator. So I was doing really, really, really good. I'm basically struggling with the whole thing of like keeping maximum percentage, maximum profit for myself, but also having killers in my agency. So to give you guys context, I made a ton of money in a couple of months ago. I forget if it was December or January, but I was giving 10% profit share to my assistant, 10% profit share to a copywriter, and 10% profit share to another person, essentially sub sales manager. And so although my take home should have been like around 250 for that month, it was only around about like 165. And it was really surprising for me because like if that was way lower and if we had a volatile month, it would have looked more negative, you know. So that's a big struggle, especially when you're working with this kind of so perfect. And then client communication issues, I would say, is my next bottleneck. So the space that I'm in can be taken like really unseriously at times in the info space, as you guys know, because a lot of people don't treat coaching like a real business. And so they'll say big things. They all want to scale to, you know, like $1 million a month, yada, yada, yada. But a lot of them aren't really doing what it takes to, you know, get to $1 million a month, if that makes sense. And so a lot of times, like if we get an A+ client, it's literally A+, basically. But a lot of times the founders aren't bought super into the business and what it actually takes to scale to 7 figures a month, which is a lot, you know? So
Yeah. Boys, I think one thing that will be helpful is like you guys just raising your hands and like actually saying what are you doing, your biggest bottleneck right now, so we can actually, you know, be on this call and be productive and get the most value as possible to each one of you guys. You know what I mean? So you guys can go one by one and basically do that.
Yeah. Froze, clinics, and construction.
Miguel, go for it. If you guys raise your hands, go for it.
Hey Jace, what's up? How are you?
What's up?
First of all, thanks so much for your time. So
course,
basically,
brother.
a question right now. Me and my co-founder, we run a full stack agency for design. So basically, we do website, product, branding, and we are starting to implement an AI on our processes, but also trying to figure it out the next steps because AI is booming right now. Cloud code is crazy. So right now, my question is more like a generic question, but do you think it's great to start pivoting to AI as a service or building our own products?
I mean, give me a refresher. What is your business?
Can you repeat? You froze a bit.
Sorry, what is your business again? Like, who do you help?
We work with SaaS and software companies
Okay, so
and startups as well.
So you don't have to create a whole AI product first. What I would do is I would solve all of your problems with AI, and then if a product arises, then you can do it. So for example, there is there's a lot of bottlenecks that can arise like on the sales side. So like for example, we use like Close CRM and a couple CRMs, and there's a lot of things when it comes to like reporting and like aggregation of data and stuff like that we fixed with AI. And we've been working on like products to sell with AI for the longest time now, right? And so one of the things that I could create with AI is I solved all my onboarding. So when a client comes on, I have this like 15-day launch sequence with all the copy that we do every single time. Like, so we basically like set up a similar marketing plan for everyone. And what I did is I actually went and did something with AI. So I have a system with Manus now where every time we onboard a client, it automatically makes all of their marketing campaigns due to their market research. I think if you want to mute real quick, you're lagging a lot. But basically, I just productize that and I can sell that as a one-off product. I did that with a scraper. I did that with this, that, and the third. But you want to make sure your product is an MVP. So if you can stack a lot of those, but don't go to selling a product right away until it really, really works for you and your clients, this, that, and the third. And agencies is a very good way to test that, meaning you can get proof of concept right away,
Yeah, so basically using AI to solve a product that already on the market, and then we can pivot to start building something more unique on our side and have more ownership.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Of course.
Go
Who
for it,
else?
Simon.
Yo, can you hear me, Jeff?
Yep.
All right, perfect. Well, first of all, thanks for your time, brother. And I was
Yes, sir.
doing my due diligence and watching the masterclass that you posted on YouTube, like great sauce, really good. I heard that you mentioned like you actually shared the video, the outreach Zoom video. Did you actually share it? Is that like a thing that you do, like sharing the video?
I can send it to Bruno and then he can distribute it with you guys. I'm not in your guys' like community. That'd be really helpful.
Yeah, it would. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And just a specific question, like for you mentioned doing 200 DMs per day. Your setter, your VA. I have the kind of the same stack. Have a setter and a VA doing the outreach. But on my main account, I've seen that it fucks up the reach, the organic reach. Have you experienced that at all?
No.
I'm thinking about actually putting them on a secondary account and keeping the organic.
No, it doesn't mess up the reach. I actually think it makes it better. All my videos continue to get a larger what's it called, like view count. So like my views are about like 5,000 per normal video right now. A bunch will get like 10K plus, 20K plus, and we still do max outreach. So the key is actually getting engagement rate on your DMs.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't get engagement on it, and the way that you fix that is you need to be all up in the comments. So we spam a bunch of comments and we use their names on it. We're like, hey, Samuel, we're going comments on there's the person that we're DMing. Left you a question about your program in the DMs. Left you a question about your clinic. I even did this when I worked with real estate brokers. Left you a question about a property. Are you taking on more clients at this time? Left you a question. And so we get a lot of good engagement rate on our DMs, and so I think Meta pushes it more.
Yeah. So it's,
Oh,
yeah,
by the way,
the
plus if
balance.
you follow up, one thing too, if you follow up on Meta Business Suite, so business.facebook.com, you don't you can follow up into infinity and it doesn't affect you.
So not on Instagram, really. Actually, the Facebook.
You do the DMs on Instagram. You have to start them on Instagram, but you can follow up in Meta Business Suite. Yeah.
All right, that's smart. All right, I think that's it, man. Appreciate it.
For sure, bro. For sure.
Yeah, for example, Ivan is like a growth up. Ivan, tell him about your situation, like how much are you making and the videos for all.
Yeah, can you hear me? All good?
Yep.
Yeah, so I kind of moved into info the last, I'll say, within the new year. So I was doing like online lead gen and stuff like that. And yeah, I'm at 15 a month now. Trying to get to like 30, 40, but I joined this call a bit late yet. So my question was going to be about DMs and how many DMs per day, but I just caught that when I joined the call. So that's good. But I think I was going to say what do you feel like? I know my content is lacking. So I got caught in a loop where I got comfortable with like 2 or 3 clients, and you said that you still do outreach now to this day. So I think you kind of answered everything without even me asking the question, pretty much. But you just say constant outreach all the time.
Yeah, like I don't even have to think about it. Like my setter's reaching out 200 plus on Instagram, probably 200 plus on Twitter as well. And he hits people privately, SMS if we give them his number, and I incentivize him well. As far as content, content's a big thing as well. Like I've had huge people hit me up just from content and from referrals from content. And the best way you can do content is you can literally just post your results. Like if you go viral while posting your results, you have the most frame in the industry, genuinely. I went viral after posting that we were number 1 on WAP a few times. Ty Lopez followed me from that video. He asked to speak with me. Tuzer asked to speak with me. All the big guys in Miami. That's how I got put on the map. And then what I did is I just ran that video as an ad until it hit about 150,000 views, because my whole thing was like, I just want to get more people like that to follow me. And then all of the content where it's just me talking about proof. So it's basically like direct response content. I just always ran as ads to view my profile to get more people like that. But those videos always did the most for me. So I made a video talking about how we got our client to 137K a month, how I made 50K a month with my agency, the best process to hit 7 figures a month as a coach, how I scale every single coaching program with AI, yada, yada, yada. And then if those videos get traction, people actually give a fuck about what you say in the mindset piece or the lessons you learned. But a lot of people do content backwards. They'll do the mindset pieces and they'll do motivation and semen retention and whatever, bro. But people don't care what you say if they don't have a reason to listen to you, so that content actually does a disservice, because you're actually creating your brand around random tips and you don't have influence at all. And I know this because I've learned some of the best lessons, bro. Who in here knows I shouldn't say his name. Who in here knows Zidane Mutlu? Do you guys know Zidane? He's big in Portugal. Anybody know Zidane?
Who?
Zidane Mutlu. You guys can look him up. He has like 550K followers.
I know that guy. Yeah.
Huge organic pull, right? And we worked with him and we tried to sell a coaching program for him in the fitness side. And he made no money, even though he gets 120K views a story. It's insane. Like the people in his DMs like glitch every time because he has so much. But the problem with what he has is not reach, is actually influence. Because if you go through his content, it's all a bunch of movies and a bunch of scenes, and you don't actually get to know what he actually does, why fitness is important, yada, yada, yada. On the flip side, I have a couple of friends who have 30 to 40K in the fitness space. And me, I have 13K followers. Peak, I made with my licensing program. This is when I had 5,000 followers, was 200K with my licensing program. That's more than Zidane would have ever made, or a lot of people that I've worked with that don't have that. So content is all about influence at the end of the day. And that's what you should chase, essentially.
Yeah, sounds good, bro. Thanks for the time.
Yeah, for sure. Who else has clues?
Yeah, Gonçalo, Diogo, and Victor Alex as well as Peak. Boys, don't be shy. So there is no bottlenecks. We're all fucking millionaires for this call. We're doing better than Chase.
Everyone's a millionaire in this call.
Yeah, everyone is a millionaire.
Yo, guys.
Millionaire, Gonçalo is a millionaire.
What's up?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not saying nothing because I am a photographer and videographer, and I scale YouTube faceless channels too. But in this moment, I'm figuring out my direction. I don't have a bottleneck because I'm figuring out what I want to do with my biz. Like I have the audiovisual stuff that I'm good, but I want to create a real business, not only do photography things or videography. Yeah, that's it.
So the bottleneck is you don't know what you want to do and you're uncertain.
It's find the purpose. That's it. Yeah.
How much are you making with the business right now?
1.5 to some months 3 depend. It's
poverty, basically.
Yeah.
Nice. I love poverty. So what's your goal with the business? Next few quarters.
Can you repeat?
What's your like end goal with the business next few quarters, like revenue wise, problem what I mean, yeah, what's your goal? Do you want to scale this to multiple 5 figures a month?
Yeah, but not only cover events and doing photography sessions. I want to help people scale their business, but I don't know if it is with content marketing or yeah, I don't know yet.
Yeah. So I mean, the same thing goes with what I just said about content. Everyone just cares about a result tied to it. So I had this friend named Lucas Lee. Do you know who Lucas Lee is on Instagram? You can go see. He does videography for KSI, Jake Paul. Now, like, he had a super fast come up. His whole brand was like
Oh, yeah.
asking this guy, being in Miami, asking him if he needs a videographer. If you go and look at him, he seems like he's at the top of the world, right? Like, he seems like he's like very, very, very successful. Like, I want everyone to go look at his brand. Look at Lucas Lee on Instagram. What you guys don't know about Lucas Lee is last summer we went on a yacht for my boy Josh's birthday, and Lucas Lee had 1,000 followers, and Josh was his biggest client. Josh was like making 50K a month as a coach. 1,000 followers, and Josh charged him Lucas charged him like $500. Now his ticket price is probably like 20,000 minimum per shoot, and he's out here flying on private jets, and he has a fucking Aventador, so like, just follow his content is what I'll say, and the come up can happen really, really, really fast.
Sure, I appreciate you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonçalo and Diogo. None of you guys want to speak? Diogo, can you hear us?
Yeah, all good.
So you guys don't have any bottlenecks?
Well, right now I'm kind of like in a period where I have to create content for the next quarter, but I think it's just like a matter of mindset, I'd say. So I'll start like filming this week, and I'm kind of like being like scared a little bit, but other than that, yeah, like I have a strategy already done, I'd say.
Okay. I can speak on mindset. Who in here is making 6 figures a month right now? Is anybody?
Well, Miguel, are you almost hitting 6 figures a month? He's like 78.
Yeah, we're trying, almost there, yeah.
Okay, so what I'll say in here is business doesn't really start unless you're making 100K a month.
I agree.
And you won't notice that until you actually are, right? Because there's so many different reasons, and so what I'll give on the mindset piece is what got me to 6 figures a month, and then really wanted to scale past that. Like, my top one was over 450, is I actually felt like what it would feel like to make over 6 figures a month, to have 150K in my bank account, then having 500K in my bank account, then having certain investments that would make me money passively, and then like just turning business into a game. But what that allowed me to do is that allowed me to turn into averages. If I make this YouTube video, this could make me 60K. If I do this webinar, this could make me 20 to 60K. But when you have nothing going and you have to create momentum, you don't have any of that, right? So, but every time I kind of have a perception of like opportunity cost and like future pacing, it always locks me in. So the thing that locked me in at first, that got me to my first 6 figures a month, was the reason why I keep following up with this guy is if I can just get 30% of his business and he makes 300 to 400K, which he can absolutely do, I'm going to make this amount of money. And that's what kept me going. So if you guys can find anything that you can do inside of your brand like that, where you can future pace and you guys can feel the end goal, which money is a really easy one to feel because it's literally just numbers based. That's the biggest mindset piece I will give you, because once you're actually abundant with that stuff, then you start developing other problems. But it seems like every one of you guys are kind of chasing purpose and trying to get to 100K a month.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the goal right now, it's basically it, like achieving 6 figures. That was the goal when I started like 3 years ago. And bro, I'm like visualizing obsessively every fucking day, When I'm on a shower, when I wake up, like anything on my mind besides that, it doesn't exist. So, and it basically is becoming reality. So I just have to keep going.
Yeah. You know, when I when I used to have like no money, but I like everyone would see me as like someone who made. There was a time like 2 years ago where like I got like one client result, but I still wasn't making the money I wanted to make. I used to go to Chase, my bank app, and I used to just push Command F inspect tool, and I used to turn that number to like $1 million. Like, and I used to actually see that number, and eventually that came true. And but you can't just like visualize it. You actually have to like really understand what that feels like, and then really feel that abundance. So, and pretty much everyone I know that's pretty successful is really good at that.
Yeah. Also, the thing about abundance is like, maybe I have to improve on that side. Like, how does it feel? Like that abundance is the goal, That's what I'm trying to achieve. Like every day you wake up and you feel like everything is already yours. It's just delayed, It's just delayed.
Yeah, if you don't actually know what it feels like to really have like true freedom and almost like you have a testosterone surge, like that's what it feels like usually to achieve your goals. Like when I received my biggest wire, which is about 450K, I was in a Marbella, Spain airport, in the first class lounge, and I had that wire hit my account, and I can't even explain that feeling, bro. But every time because bro, business is up and down. Like there's no stopping that, Every time I try to like go for a new goal, I try to feel what that felt like again.
Bro, that must felt so fucking good.
Yeah. And I felt like
bro,
that.
Jace, it's so sorry to interrupt. It's so true what he said. For example, yesterday, I spent like the whole afternoon in a Lamborghini, like my dream car, bro, my actual dream car. And boys, I cannot explain like the feeling of being inside that motherfucker. Right? I was already like, I know that shit will add an extra fucking 30, 40, 50K a month. Lusitanos, and we call them Muslims and all that. Like, just the vibration is so crazy. And you guys been seeing like what we've been doing here in the US. Everything has been a game changer because it all comes down to vibration. It all comes down to energy. Being around Jace, being around all these guys every single day. It just it's fucking crazy, boys. Like that's why I always recommend to leave the fucking career in Portugal, boys. Like even like some of you are just starting out, bro, leaving the hometown and just be outside for a fucking week or two, come to the US or somewhere, there'll be a game changer already. Like Miguel is already on pace for 6-figure months. This Miguel and the other Miguel. Fred is gonna hit record month because he came to the US as well. Like just I have no words. JC is completely correct when it comes to the abundance things. Yeah.
Yeah, man, and I actually had the luxury of having a really like just discontent life growing up, and I just like always never wanted to be around my hometown or my parents. If you guys don't know, like I came from like the coldest town in the US. I come from like North Dakota, Minnesota. If any of you guys even know where that is, it's literally winter for like 8.5 months, and then the other part is like gray and somewhat hot. And so that a lot of people had low standards. So I was really not really happy like when I was like younger. So like, but a lot of people I know who had like good families. I'll go to my hometown now and I'll see people that were like popular in high school, just working bank jobs, asking like what I do. But I had a lot of fire on my ass growing up because I could not like stand the fact of being mediocre. And then you figure out what you want to do, and then your standards, not wanting to be mediocre, goes into business, and then you find who's like doing the best in that business, and then you want to beat them as well because you don't want to be mediocre at that business. So that's what really pushed me forward. But if you're in kind of like a comfortable position, hard for you. I'm not gonna lie, bro. It's gonna take you a while. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Samuel or the other boys, do you guys like really struggling because now we're transitioning to mindset on this call? And I feel like it's the biggest thing. Like that's the biggest thing that has been changing for me the last month and a half, 2 months. And That's why now we're scaling. Yeah, Samuel, do you feel like right now you have like kind of that issue that you're always kind of saying, or you feel like you're good on your end?
No, also I have like we even spoke. Like I invested in a mentor, and like I saw you guys, and I was like, damn, I should have go. I should have gone because I see I can understand the energy that's like I knew it. Looking back, I should have went. Yeah.
Created some FOMO to you watching the stories all day.
Yeah, for real, me too. I gotta admit.
Well, what?
Yeah, for real, me too. I gotta admit, man. Like the quantity of stories and the quality, like shit.
Bro, was pumping out the FOMO machine.
Gonzalo, bro, I haven't even heard you fucking speak, bro. Turn on the camera, bro. Are you afraid of showing yourself? Are you naked with the girl? What the fuck? Is he even alive? Gonzalo. Hey, can you speak, bro? Like, bro, you. Yeah, Jace, like, Gonzalo is.
Yeah,
like,
can you hear me?
Yeah, speak.
Yeah, no, my mistake. I was just trying to. I'm outside, but I mean, bro, pretty much like I was doing like lead gen, SMMI, been in the area still, but currently just like doing sales because I want to work with bigger companies. So like I'm just doing setting, but it's all right. But eventually I want to, of course, either like something high leverage. So I kind of want to understand because you kind of did that transition not to sales, but like when you had like SMMA as well, and it sounds like you also went to something higher leverage.
Yeah.
What was that specific? Like, what made you do that transition even as well in the first place?
Well, I was, I was, I basically rented up with real estate brokers. So we run like Facebook and YouTube ads, and we would close like, 5 to 12K packages. So we were making some money, but it's really hard to sell homes off of like Facebook ads, and it's not very profitable in the long run. So like the traditional SMMA trap is like, you're getting like 15 clients on 5K a month, maybe. Like that's a lot for a lot of people, and they're gonna churn anyways, instead of like my business where you're taking rev share. And so the way that I transitioned is like, first of all, I fucking hated that business. I was really just like closing deals, just knowing they were gonna churn anyways, and I was gonna have to refund a lot of them. And I was writing out a 5-year plan for that business, and I literally couldn't. Like I couldn't imagine myself running that business like 5 years down the line. So I was like, okay, this is when I cut the plug. So what I was doing is I did outreach for my info business. I know you could take 30+%, and the churn is like nothing for my business right now. Like I've had 2 clients out of maybe 40 plus churn, and it wasn't even them churning. Like I got scammed one time, and then we parted ways with another guy. So and I can actually see myself running a way bigger business of this in the next 5 years,
Got you. So like vision mostly, would you say?
Yeah, you say vision?
Like yeah, being able to like foresee the vision of the business itself and seeing yourself do it.
Exactly. And I literally like hated the last business. Like literally, I hated the people I worked with. I hated everyone. I hated the process. Like, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna pursue that,
Got you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And I love the people I work with now, and like I can actually see myself running this 10 years plus down the line at a much bigger scale, obviously, but
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure.
Of course. Bruno, do you see yourself running this 10 plus years down the line?
Yeah, for sure, bro. 1,000%.
Exactly, bro. That's why you're so motivated, like coming down here. It's because like, there's just a different feeling, bro. And you're like, when you're actually like contributing to something, and like it's almost like you're getting to milestones faster, bro. Like when you know you're trying to go for like something really big and you have like a big accomplishment, you're like, damn, I wonder what my accomplishments in 5+ years are gonna be like.
Bro,
Yeah, bro. Like a year and a half ago, I was literally like in my grandparents' basement, like just grinding. I was making good money, but I was grinding. And then I went on a trip to Dubai with Suez Group for like 2.5 weeks. And then I lived in Marbella, Spain for a month and a half doing the biggest launch. And then I came to Miami and I never went back. So and that was all in a year span, bro. Like so much stuff happened in 2025. I can only imagine what's gonna happen over the next like 3 years, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I definitely see myself doing this shit, bro. Nothing better than have like 200, 300 killers inside the club, bro. All living together around the world, traveling, bro. But the masterminds are fucking crazy, bro. This last mastermind was insane. And yeah, bro, I'm gonna do one every single month, non-stop. Even gonna try to aim for 2 every fucking month. So yeah, bro, we're gonna go big, and that's pretty much it. Like that. As you know, we're in love with this shit. Yeah, no Jews, no vegans, no gays, no Indians. Yeah, Jace, you're not a Jew, right? I don't think you're a Jew.
No, bro, no.
Ah, bro, I was like, fuck.
The Jews work for me. You have to have some Jews in your life that are like your accountants and your lawyers and stuff, but other than that, like no Jews.
Yeah, boys, you guys have anything left? Like questions, bro? Jace, I texted you. Yeah, bro, that Loom video would be super appreciated, so I can send all the boys because it's gonna be a game changer for them and also for me. Because bro, I'll implement it also for my own business. So yeah.
Yeah, bro, the Loom video is extremely saucy, boys. I'm not gonna lie, like so many people. So I'll give that.
Oh shit, you're lagging out. Boys, do you have anything left? Any questions? Anything?
Just thank you so much for your time, brother. A lot of sauce. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir, boys.
exactly.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, bro.
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Boys, next week then we have more killers coming in. So yeah, any questions? Just let me know. And let's fucking crush it.
Let's fucking go.
Let's collect some.
go, boys.
Let's go. Bye bye, guys.
All right, boys.
Bye, boys. Thank you, Jace. Thank you, Jace.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Jace.
Thank you
Bye.
so much.